So, yesterday was a great day. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me today here on the Eyes on Coach podcast. Welcome to all the coaches out there. I certainly wanted to follow up today on something we did yesterday. I had mentioned that we were going to be doing a grit drill, which I walked through in yesterday's video. Super fun drill to work on grit and being more intense and intentional about driving to the ball and earning the right to win that possession. But last night we got the chance to try it again. It's been a while since I used that drill with any of my teams, but last night was a great opportunity to get the guys going. Um, in particular, it was a U14 team that really good bunch of boys. Um, the the important thing I think about that one was, as I explained yesterday, it was a good teaching moment to explain the rules and explain what is a foul, what is not a foul when you're making shoulder to shoulder contact like that. Also, we spent some time working through building uh, up that intensity to drive towards the ball and get the experience, going shoulder to shoulder with an opponent, but at the same time, these were their pals, right? So it was it was good to see that they were actually a little bit more interested in being the winner in that particular case, and hopefully that translates to their game time performances. But I uh, I really enjoyed seeing them compete, and again, as I said yesterday, it was a really good opportunity to teach them and explain more about the the transition from intensity to composure to uh, you know being creative, putting the ball back into a dribbling and shooting mode where you are looking for accuracy. The analogy I use is, when you're getting intentional about, physically making contact with another player, you kind of get that wide-eyed, scanning, like, fight or flight type of uh, physiological response. But at the same time, um, you need to kind of snap back into composure and creativity, dribbling, soft, a lot of quality touches on the ball, dribbling, and putting the ball to space, and then delivering an intentional shot. Um, I think they did great. You know, uh, they had their moments. Like I said yesterday, we definitely have that opportunity when the ball gets drilled way out of range of the net. But we used pug goals, and it was really cool to see them do that. Then the second part of it was we actually, just because it was a line drill. We split the group into two, right? So we had two teams going opposite directions towards two different goals. And then, as after we kind of got the point across, and we've been doing it for a while, uh, we did a playoff, right? So the winner of one team ended up facing off against the winner of another team in a final. So the interesting thing was, we had said that if they score, that's a win for the player. But if no one scores and they miss the goal, that's a redo, right? So we ended up having to have the two finalists do that rep like 5 times before someone actually put it in the goal. But it gets to the point where, like, oh, we gotta shut this down. It's time to move on to other things. But it was cool. It was cool. They had fun. Other thing we tried last night was a really good drill that I haven't written up formally to present to everyone, but I just briefly wanted to take a minute to explain it. And essentially, it's the idea of teaching the players to be scanning and getting looks around the field with intention. So the quick setup is that there were groups of three cones for each player, and each group of 3 is set up in a horizontal or a linear fashion. So 1, 2, 3 cones, and the the player on one of the end cones starts with the ball, passes it to the center player, and before they receive the ball, they're making that scanning look, um, and then they open up to receive the ball on the back foot and pass it to the opposite player on the far cone. Um, so we kind of work through getting the players to um, build up their skill set and experience doing that. Some of them obviously have experience doing it. Some of them have never done that. And once we started to see progress and the players were actually doing that, we were rotating them, right? So every few tries, we would rotate the players around the cones to get everyone a chance to be in the middle doing this actual scanning. But then the second level of that was to have the center player scan before they receive the ball, and then the non-passing player has a random choice they make whether or not they want to approach that center player as a defender or as an opponent. So if they scan and see that player coming, the intention is to detect that and make a decision of what's happening and pass the ball back to where it came from. If the player is not coming, then they can turn, open up, receive the ball, and pass it to that open player on the opposite end. And then we do the same thing the opposite way, back and forth like that. So a lot of good opportunity for the players to not only practice scanning, but actually prove that they are seeing and deciding based on what they see. So there are a lot of variations to that. I've seen where that opens up into more of a grid view. So like you have more than one option depending upon where the player is coming from. So it really builds on scanning and seeing and making choices based on actual game-like situations, players coming from different directions. So, well, that's all I really had today, folks. I wanted to just, pass those 2 drills along and the experience with the first one. I mentioned yesterday that I was going to try and get some footage of the grit drill, but that didn't really work out. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the ability to get the camera set up in time. But also, I hope you guys are checking out the NCAA scores. The tournament's underway. Certainly a lot of good games last night. But the women continue. I think there's round 2 for the women tonight. I'm not sure if the men have anything going tonight, but definitely could keep an eye on that. So that's it for me for today. I hope you guys have a great day and weekend to come. And we're going to be on the pitch indoors for some of our teams, and we'll have some fun with it. Good luck, guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care.